Hello, my name is Zachary Freeman, and I apologize for the audio quality and the length of what I'm about to post on YouTube. I know very well that most of you are not going to watch all the videos in the sequence, especially since most of them are 30 minutes long. But I just got done recording 2 hours of audio, attempting to chronicle what I've been through, and decided to give an attempt at a quick overview, which is of an overview. So a summary of a summary, none of which will do justice to what I've experienced. So in 2016, I was sexually assaulted at Oglethorpe University by my at-the-time girlfriend. I reported it shortly thereafter, and I was told in no uncertain terms that I should keep quiet about it or I would be punished. It was made to be known that something bad would happen to me. They were right. I continued to pursue justice, and after I officially reported it, I was defamed, harassed, threatened, stalked, and as I reported more and more of the behavior by other students, I was coerced out of my private lease agreement, not a dorm, made homeless, suffered gaslighting from the administration of Oglethorpe University and the student body, was ignored, belittled. This has been a continuing problem for over a semester, and there have been multiple violations of the university's conduct code, including defamation, harassment, stalking. And every time I brought it to your attention or Dean Pollard's attention, not only has not anything been done.
I think we responded really quickly, and I don't agree with that. And also, Zach, I think when you submitted that, you got immediate response. Dean Pollard followed up with you, you didn't respond. You chose not to respond. So let's dial back the intensity and talk through what's actually transpired.
Right.
So
Actually,
you got an immediate response.
Yeah, that's telling me that a student has been sanctioned is one thing. Actually, solving the core.
Sanctions ever. We don't. We can talk to you generally, but we don't give sanction letters to others.
Right. I get that. I actually received the sanction letter, but we need to actually solve the core of the issue. And when it's all said and done, my therapist at the rape crisis center that I eventually went to summarized my experience as describing the university itself like my rapist. And she was right. On the screen now, you will see some of what I have been through. I'm going to include snippets of some of the meetings I have recorded in this intro. Facebook, regardless if it's a private message or not, is a public platform.
Right. So there's the court system and then there's
in the following videos, I will go into greater detail about the politics and atmosphere at the school, what the school stands for, how poorly it's managed, how unsafe it is in terms of food quality, dorm housing, and student conduct violations, and how they're upheld or not upheld by administrators. And ultimately, which it breaks my heart to say, why nobody should go to Oglethorpe. Oglethorpe University had one of the best academic experiences that I've ever had. There are wonderful professors there who are very passionate about what they do. There are good people there, but the administration and the kinds of students that Oglethorpe attracts create an incredibly toxic environment that has left me permanently scarred. I went there to improve my life and to find enlightenment, and then ultimately all I found was pain and torment, and in the end, likely any opportunities that I could have gained from the university were robbed from me, and my future was ultimately destroyed. as you can see here, there's lots of comments, and I heard this a lot, that said, you can't change this, just accept it. I was told just take it a lot, and I want to sort of, I don't know how to word this better or less crassly, but it's exactly what a rapist says during rape. And it isn't just what's metaphorically happening here. They seem to be getting off on the damage they're doing to me. And making videos like this is kind of like me screaming out for help. And I look around everyone else. I was surrounded by at Oglethorpe, and it's a lot like the bystander effect. And no one would help me, even as I was being attacked every single day. To explain further, and for those of you who are familiar with colleges and sexual assault, I did file a Title IX against my attacker, and I filed multiple Title IXs against my harassers. They were ignored. I filed with the Department of Education OCR. They made the rare choice to open an investigation to a private university back in June. They opened the investigation in June 2017. 2018, sorry. And that is still ongoing. But I see very little likelihood that I'll have any kind of justice out of this, what I've been through. I continued to come to class even after I was made homeless. I went days without food and showers, exposed to the elements. I was mocked for attempting to find resources on campus after I became homeless and to try to find refuge from the stalking and harassment. Any attempt to rebuild my life and find stability, the students who were upset with me for reporting them for student conduct violations and for reporting my sexual assault would contact people outside of the university. Any contacts I made continue even to this day to watch anything I post online and continue to harass me and call me crazy and attempt to use gaslighting to squelch my voice. These videos and any other things that I post online are always review bombed. I attempted to open GoFundMe fundraisers for what I've been through and to attempt to fight this and stay alive, and they review bombed all of those. And there were people who donated money, and I never saw any of it, so I'm sorry you wasted your money. There was one fundraiser to fix a medical complication that I got some of the money from, and it went to preliminary diagnostics. But that was it. And I stopped trying to post fundraisers beyond that point. Because it wasn't worth everyone wasting their money if they were just going to get them shut down every single time. They're really relentless, and it's still going to happen. And the lesson that those students have learned from this is that the administration and society at large will protect them from responsibility, so they've learned that they can do this with impunity and will continue to do so. I wasn't kidding when I said I agreed with my therapist that it was like Oglethorpe as a whole was my attacker, because everything I've been through has effectively been like being raped. Not just the sexual assault itself, but the constant denial of self, the loss of agency, the violent destruction of my person. I've been made to feel like less than a human being. And I paid for the privilege of this treatment, a lot of money in student loans. And I don't think anybody else should have to go through this. So in the next following videos, I will chronicle some of what I've been through and my perspectives on the university and the student body and how it's run and the atmosphere. I apologize if it's incoherent. I just turned the microphone and I started talking. And I've put supporting evidence on screen after the fact. And included will be recordings of being denied evidence to be submitted in my own defense. And full disclosure, I have a Title IX hearing coming up soon on the 11th. But it's not mine against my attacker. No, ahead of mine, even though I filed first, they're doing my attackers against me, claiming I sexually harassed her with poorly written, poorly sourced evidence, and only 2 witnesses who lied through their teeth. One of them, my academic advisor. Provably, because I recorded all my conversations with my academic advisor, and he made a different witness statement in the previous Title IX against one of my harassers, of which the university has roadblocked me from seeing, and like an attorney, I had to cite the specific law to tell them that they actually had to let me view the report again, and I don't know if I will be able to get the hearing panel to even look at, even though he made a completely contradictory witness statement in a previous Title IX. You know, invalidating everything he said. So, will the hearing panel see this? The respondent on the 11th. Okay. They should see this. So, like, I'm going to formally request they see this, and the first thing I'm going to ask when I get the hearing panel is that they should see this. And I'm not going to stop until they see it. And I met that opportunity. As I did. I totally came. I came, and you're doing this on purpose. That's what your triggers are trying to railroad me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that hearing. I'm going to shove all of this. And be like, this is stuff you couldn't see. This is what they didn't want you to know.
Anything that's relevant, as determined by the investigator, is provided. The investigator has the discretion to do that.
Yeah, and she failed in her bias to include relevant information. I had to write an 86-page response.
Right, and so that is going to be reviewed by the hearing panel. That was your opportunity.
Yeah, and I asked for this so I could include it, and then you didn't know the law, you know, and told me I couldn't see it, and then I asked for it. Then I asked the department that you sent me to, and they're like, we don't even handle this.
They do. It was a confusion on it, but because this is a FERPA request, so that does go through them, and then it goes through me. That doesn't aside. You had the opportunity to investigate.
And I met that opportunity.
And you did not meet with her.
I totally came. I came to her door. Oh, I forgot to mention one of the most perverse things about this. So you might think that the upcoming Title IXs I mentioned in the videos are me versus my attacker. But instead, what the university has chosen to do, despite me filing first, and the gravity of what's happened in the evidence, is I have to defend myself from a Title IX against my attacker. My attacker's filed against me in an attempt to deny that the relationship even happened in the first place. And that's, I don't even usually even get to talk about what that sort of represents, you know, a denial that I even existed or mattered, you know, to an individual, which is clearly the truth. That's how narcissistic sociopaths kind of operate. Clearly didn't matter to my attacker, especially in the moment in which I was violated. But I clearly don't matter at all to the administration at Oglethorpe or to a lot of the people on that campus. And witnesses have been intimidated. Most won't come forward. My reputation was so thoroughly trashed by my attacker and the other harassing students that most people see me as the villain. I had rape fantasy stories written about me, supposedly written by me, that I have proof now that I didn't write, that the university refuses to let anybody look at, because it helps defend them in a future lawsuit and the investigation with the Department of Education. Screenshot of a screenshot.
So it tells
So what's
you-
occurrence by the pool?
Honestly, I think that's the document I sent to Dr. Fuller, isn't it?
I don't know if you did or not, but in this context is a story that it's in here, and it's another piece of evidence that's referenced at some
Oh, in
point.
there.
But it's a story that the respondent here is saying was the document being referenced in those group chats.
Okay.
Um,
We're going to have to go over that. 'Cause
and
that's-
then this context, and so it's in the next paragraph of the
yeah.
statement, is that it says he knew it to be about was the friend that sent the respondent's document. He decided this is
Yeah.
what he submitted, saying here's where I received this document.
That's weird.
So,
Okay.
25, if you'd like to reference that to what
the
story.
actual
The story, yeah. But you actually have the document itself?
The document itself, yeah.
Yeah, so where is that? Because I want to.
25?
But I will note this document, item number 25 was not submitted by the respondent. It was submitted by,
Okay. So 25 is all of this. This isn't the same thing I sent Dr. Fuller.
Dr. Fuller wouldn't have been able to submit. I don't think it would have to be.
Right, but I.
Is this in the binder?
No.
Did you write this?
I don't recall a lot of this. Like some of it's stuff that's in what I wrote Dr. Fuller, but not the same thing. At least not that I remember. I'd have to look at the original thing, but it's longer.
But the real occurrence by the pool is different.
Yeah.
Can you show the difference between
Yeah, but I need to.
this and his?
I haven't looked at that thing in forever because I don't kind of want to, but I guess. There's a typo too. There's a lot of details about me in here that I don't think I included in the original story. This is really weird.
Is this the story they did readings of?
I don't know what they did for readings. That's the problem. I just know they did readings. This is weird. This is really creepy. What the fuck is this?
If we want to submit a story the story that if it's different than this,
In that screenshot, there's two versions of it, and it's a screenshot of a screenshot.
did you submitted the original to Dr. Fuller?
Yeah.
So she put forward what you sent her.
Right. And we can compare them because I don't. This is what.
yeah, so if you have a document that has the same title, you think
I don't remember if I titled it. See, here's the deal. MLA.
wrong thing.
Yeah,
It's the
see.
original thing.
Yeah, why would there need to be two versions of it? Why is one in a completely different file format that's incompatible with .cox, and why is it in MLA format?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can ask Dr. Fuller. If you sent the original one to her, she can forward it to you,
Yeah.
so it could be compared.
Yeah,
against
this document comes up a bit more throughout.
Mhm.
So I think let's make note of that, and then as we get through, I think we'll figure out the best strategy.
Right.
But that could be a follow-up question. So Pam Patterson is the person sending that screenshot.
Right.
So what evidence item number is that? Is that 17?
This is evidence number 25. Oh, is that?
17.
Yeah.
That is a clarification question looking at.
Okay.
Can you account for?
And Dr. Fuller can send what she has with
Yeah, like
the correct one Dr. Fuller has.
Like I remember writing this because I'm writing this to Dr. Fuller about what it's like to have PTSD. But the rest of it, and it's numbered in chapters. And there's never like multiple. This is just like a thing that you told me to write.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why would I have it in multiple? Do we have a file? Like an actual digital file?
That was submitted? Yeah, it was submitted digitally.
Did you check the metadata on it? Do you know how to check the metadata on it?
No, what are you asking?
Alright, so basically you take the file, you right click on it, you go to properties, you see who author is, you can see what computer it was written from. That data is saved in the file name itself. So you can find out who wrote this and who edited it.
But we also have, you sent your exact one to Dr. Fuller.
Right.
So all we have to do is compare Dr. Fuller's to this.
But here's my worry is that the file type is changed to normal .doc. One of the advantages of the upgrade to the x.docx is that it has more metadata and it tracks the individual changes. In the old version, you can't do the changes commenting. Those features they didn't exist in the 90s. So some of the information won't be there, but the author computer might still be in there.
Okay.
It can be modified. There are like programs that help you modify them. I would doubt that anyone else would know how to do that. It's not like.
But if Dr. Fuller's is different than this, we know it was.
Yeah. It's
Those
not,
can just be compared.
it's not that it's modified. It's that who modified it and when is possibly accessible in the data.
Okay, yeah, I can look into that. And if you could look into, again, this will come up later as well, but the file that you sent,
Yeah.
that would be very helpful. Is this the... So this is the right click and properties of that document.
So
that's printed.
it just lists me. Great.
This here, and then it says content created February 24th, 2017, about 2 years ago.
It's not, and it's .doc, so it's not going to have any of the when it was modified, like actually all the stuff in it.
Yeah, looks like
Wait, the computer? It's an Oglethorpe terminal.
right.
That's weird. Why wouldn't it be on my lap?
I'm happy to print this and put this as part of the addendum.
Yeah.
Of this. It's not going to add this details page of the document if that we help with a reference.
All right.
Well, if you emailed it to Dr. Fuller, she wouldn't have to send it. You could just forward the email.
I was
to
Send her, yeah.
I was gonna say, it'll have to be from your, because Dr.
Yeah.
Fuller, anything you would send her would be looking
Yeah.
at. Yeah.
Yeah, the computer name would be Oglethorpe if we're using a computer in the domain. But if it were from like my laptop, it would be whatever the computer name on my laptop is, which you can't change once you've set it. It's been such a nightmare. And I hope that if you're still listening and if you watch some or all of the videos that follow this, that you don't give up hope if you've been through anything like this. I've tried really hard to keep it together and keep fighting. And not for myself, but because there were other victims on that campus too, and there are victims out there that have had their lives ruined like I have. And I've been trying to win a victory against all odds to demonstrate that you can keep winning. It's just, at this point, I don't know if that victory is possible. I don't know. But I'm going to keep fighting anyway. And I hope that if you listen to this and watch these videos, that you take away that your voice matters, or that no matter what, you should talk to somebody, tell people your stories, and try to keep your head up, and don't let them win. Thank you.